everybody for coming very much. I have no idea, but this is a lot of years in a row, so I'm not quite sure. I can't remember. So, my favorite time of the year is right now, for sure, because I get to thank a really wonderful group of parents and obviously my favorite group of boys in the whole school every year, without question. I make no bones about it. I like coaching track and field, but I love coaching cross country. There's no doubt about that. So it's been my pleasure to spend another incredible. Gosh, we started in August, right, guys? So well, we started in June. Now that I think about it, an incredible summer, an incredible fall with your sons. It's just a total joy for me because I get to be around the nicest, best kids in the school, the leadership kids, and the kids who want to work hard. And it's like one of the major reasons I get up every morning in the summer is because I can hang with you guys and keep people motivated. We do some good things. We had another really great season. We were 4th place in our division, which is great. We had tons and tons of improvement and tons of fun, and it was definitely one of the hardest working group of kids I had. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that during my speech about how hard these guys worked, and it was quite interesting because this team pretty much coached itself. Mr. Lamorato and I would go out to practice, and it was like, by the end of the season, it was like, these guys don't even need us to be here. Like, why are we standing here? So it felt kind of funny because I've never had a team being taken over by a team before, which was really awesome. I mean, it was really awesome because the leadership was so great on our cross-country team that Coach Lamorato and I were like, we don't understand this, but we liked it. It was really great. So we want to keep that going for sure. Cross-country guys, I've told you this a million times, so I'm going to tell you this again. This is a part of who you are. It's not like the whole picture, but it's a really important part because it's the one time during the day where you can put all your troubles aside and you can push yourself really hard to try to accomplish something really important. Okay, that's really important because as you guys go forward in your lives, you're going to have to learn how to find that moment in your day where you just forget about all your troubles and you don't worry about school and you don't worry about the girlfriend or the parents or the this or that, and you just go out there and you do something. Most of the time when you do something physical like working out or running, it's really a huge stress relief, okay? I know you guys all very well, and what I know about you guys is you're what I would call high-functioning kids in a very stressful society. And what I mean by that is, we just had a 35-minute conversation about whether you should take the IVHL something. I didn't even understand it. So that tells me right there that like you guys gotta keep doing this type of stuff to keep what I would like to call a balance in your life. It's very important. You need that balance because going forward, the stresses are going to get higher: college, jobs, family, marriage. And you got to take time to pull yourself away from that, even if it's a half hour a day, an hour a day, to do something to get yourself recentered and refocused. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Also, cross country, as the new guys are hopefully learning, it's an excellent goal setting process. I ran 38 minutes today. Tomorrow I ran 37:50. I'm still really slow, but I'm getting better. Does that make sense? So it's always a goal-oriented thing. And it's another thing is, what's cool about this team, which has always been cool about this team, but especially this year, is our team is really diverse, which is really cool. I mean, our team, you know, you go, it's funny, and I'm just going to be like super honest about this, is we'll go up against a school like Catholic Central, okay? And Catholic Central will have like 400 boys, and every boy will look exactly alike, okay? I mean, right? You guys know, right? You guys have been there. And what I love about my team is, traditionally, some of the boys on my team will be like, Coach, watch, I'm going to go stand in that big group of boys so that they can see that things look different. And it's really funny. I can't tell you who did that, but there were guys who would do that every year. And I think you guys are very blessed. And the reason you're blessed is because of the fact that you're surrounded with people on your team that are completely different from each other. I don't know if you guys probably don't even realize that. which is like a beautiful thing. You don't even realize that. And you guys, because of that, when you move forward in the real world, which is coming for some of you guys in a couple months, you're going to be like way ahead. You're going to be way ahead. Because the problem is, if you always hang out with the same people, when you get into the real world, there's not enough of the same people. So I think that's really, really important, okay? So you guys are, to me, are just a beautiful example of how young men should be together, work together, have a common cause, but we're all bringing a different set of tools to the table. Now, I know you guys know what I'm talking about because you guys probably have all taken theory of knowledge, I'm assuming, right? Okay, no, maybe you haven't. Okay, good. All right. So, again, you know, you guys, I mean, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being the guys that you are, the young men that you are. That's your guys' moms and dads doing, obviously. And I'm just very fortunate to be able to work with you guys, okay? You know, and I hope you guys know this. You know, I never look at my athletes as athletes and runners. That's like a secondary thing for me. I look at them as people and who they are and where they're headed with their lives. That's very important. So remember that when you guys get into things, you know, and if you're in a position where you're like, well, I'm in charge of making these people better, you know, you might find out they're just better people to begin with. And then when you understand that, everything will go forward. Get what I'm saying? So how fast you run, how many things you win, is not going to be a measure of who you guys already are. Does that make sense? Okay? Now, if you want to make $1 million and share it with me, that's fine too. That's totally fine. So, very important. So, I'm very proud of you guys. All right, so my first guy here, we got him out, which was really great because we kind of bugged him. And he came to a bunch of the meets, which was really good, but he was also like one of the best soccer players in the school because I saw him, he played up against my son in a game this year and made my son look pretty bad, so but that's okay. But a great runner, and we're going to keep him going. And he's going to be a really great track. We're glad he's here tonight. Jacob Home. You need one of these, right? Okay. The next guy, again, doing really well, getting much better with his running all the time, improving every day. It was funny though, he tells me he likes to get up early in the morning, except in the summertime. He doesn't like to get up early in the morning, which I guess is okay. But great runner, getting stronger. It was nice this year to watch him because he's a sophomore, and as a freshman, he was like a beginner runner. But this year, he liked to come to practice because he knew there were a bunch of guys that he could really pound on. And it was pretty fun to see that. So he's doing great, Josh Sam. Okay, the next guy, I'm not even sure how he came out, but I was really glad he came out because I didn't know who he was, but somebody saw this guy's coming out, and I'm like, oh, okay, sounds cool. And he came out, and on the first day, I told him to run like 2 miles, and we were going to run like 5 miles or something like that, a little bit longer. And I kind of told him to turn, and every time I told him to turn, because I was ahead of him, I was actually beating one kid on the team for one day, and he wouldn't turn. He wouldn't turn, and he just kept following me the whole run. I'm like, oh my God, this kid is going to be dead when he finishes. He's going to quit the team. He's going to hate everything. And then all of a sudden I'm realizing, like, wait a minute. This kid's run one time in his life, and he's catching me. That was really embarrassing. But he kept going, and he ran like 5 miles in his first day, and he just kept getting better and better. And I'm really glad he's on the team. And he's just, I don't know if he knows this, but he's very athletic, and I think he's starting to figure that out. Marcel's counts. Good. All right. The next guy, I'm really glad it's out. I want him out in track. He wasn't with us in track, but he comes from a very athletic family, and he's very athletic. And he's making good choices because he's hanging around with what I think are the good kids in school. Even though he hangs out with a lot of kids in school, I just think he's doing a great job. He's growing tremendously as a person. And excellent runner, and I can't wait to see what he can do in track because he's just really talented. Davier Byrne. Here we go. Okay. Our next guy, again, is super fun to have out. I think he came with Marcellus. Doing a great job, really setting goals and improving every day. Really interesting to talk to for sure because he's a great conversationalist, which is really cool. And a good runner, beginner, but good. He just keeps improving. Every time I saw him run, he just got better, and I'm glad because I think he's definitely going to be back next year. I'll encourage him to come out for track 2 because we've got 35, what do we have, 55 varsity positions, right? We have a lot of varsity positions. So, Gabe Chinchilla. Okay. Thanks, buddy. Okay. Okay, let's see. Our next guy, him and I spent the whole summer talking about presidential politics, which I really like. I won't say who I like, but he knows exactly who I like, which is fine. And he's my real person that I like. We talk like hardcore stuff, which is really great. And he told me something very interesting, and I have to kind of brag about him a little bit. He won't like this, but I'll do it anyways, because I've never seen this in my 29 years of high school. I think we were talking about politics while we were running, and he says to me, I said, well, what did you do with your summer? He goes, oh, I took a bunch of AP tests. I go, how did you take? And he goes, oh, I took like 6 or 5 of them. I said, how'd you take so many? Did you take all those AP classes? He goes, no, I didn't take any of the classes. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, no, I just took the test. Skipped the classes. I'm like, really? Are you kidding? I'm running with the kid. I'm like, couldn't believe it. And I said, well, how'd you do it? He goes, I went to the library. I got the books. I read the books. I took the test. And I think he took 6 AP tests. Pretty sure, or 5. And he got, like, I think, perfect scores in every test. Which is pretty good. And he likes my presidential candidate, which is even better. So, excellent runner. Huge improvement this year, just huge. A couple minute improvement for sure. And just enjoy. Noah Weingart. So you need this. You're welcome. Okay. Next guy, I got him out. He's our only freshman, which is a big deal. Could be a big deal next year too. Just saying, could be a big deal. Because I don't know what's going to happen next year, but it might be hard to find freshmen. It might be hard. You know, it's hard to find a freshman who's like a top-notch student. And if you're a top-notch student and you're coming to Harrison next year, that'll be even harder to find. Potentially. I hope not. I hope it's not like that, but it could be. And excellent runner. I mean, our 4th best runner, 3rd best runner all season, was way up there. Very fun to have on the team. Very fun. He would tell us how the world was supposed to be every single day, which was really cool. And I believe that one of his grades is a result of his thought process. But excellent runner. Really, honestly, probably one of the best 9th graders we've had, probably since James Weekly, for sure. And he's really talented. He's going to be on the wrestling team, and they can't wait for him in wrestling because he's really talented. And he's fun. He's fun. He loves to eat. And here's a good story about him. People don't know this, but I know this. This is true, and I'm not making this up, and everybody on the team can back me up. He comes to school at 7 o'clock in the morning. He goes to the media center. He gets a book. Between first hour and 6th hour of the day, he reads that entire book.
Wait, you mentioned the media center before lunch.
Oh, before lunch, he reads one book, an entire book, every single day. And including, and remember, he's in school, guys. He's in school. And he got removed from the wrestling team at the middle school because he was reading a book during the meet. Now, if any kid wants to read a book during a track meet, you can join my team tomorrow. Okay, I'm flat out. I mean, you can join my team tomorrow. But he is really incredible, and I just can't wait to see what happens to him over the next 4 years. Haunting Law. Okay. All right. My next guy, which is really fun. I'm getting everybody. Yeah. Okay. My next guy, he was in a crazy class that I was working in last year. It was a what was that? What was that? Biology class. real quiet kid in the class, but I knew his older brother because his older brother ran for me, and somehow we made the connection, and he came out, and he's a sophomore, and he came out for track, and he was really talented. I mean, he can run, and he keeps getting better, he keeps getting stronger, and he's a really hard worker. Again, top-notch student, and I predicted he's probably going to be one of the best runners we've had by the time he graduates, because he's got power, and he's got good stride, and he's a really hard worker, Mitchell Mulleroni. Okay, good. Okay, now this is fun because I wanted this guy out I think all 4 years, but his older brother sabotaged him. I found this out later in life. Every time I'd say, well, what about your brother? He'd go, oh, he doesn't run, they don't want that guy out. And the minute his brother left, I went over and I said, well, what about coming out? He goes, yeah, I'll come out. And he came out the same day. Same day. So I saw the older brother in school, and I kind of gave him a hard time about it because I think this guy should have been out. But he's a senior. I think he found out that he can do things athletically for sure. I mean, he's got a lot of talent. Joy to have on a team, a big plus to the whole team atmosphere for sure. And I hope he runs track because I think he'd be good, because I think he might be a good, even better at the shorter distances, even though he's solid at the long distances. So, and I'm really excited. I'm really happy to have him on his team, and I'm glad his little sister's going to be around for a few more years too. Lazar Orgaravan. Okay. All right. Yeah, dude.
Why aren't you running for me, right?
All right. Our next guy is a sophomore, and he has done extremely well. I really found out this year that there's no question in my mind he wants to be good. He wants to be the best runner on our team. And it never really clicked on me, but I saw how he was when he finished some of the biggest races of the year. I mean, I do. You guys don't know this, but I do assess like what people think after they finish. Because that's very important to me. Because you know what I'm saying? You can tell. You can't really tell what's happening during the race, but believe me, you can tell 5 minutes after. You know, if they're with the girlfriend and the cookies, or they're over there swearing at themselves, which, you know, not swearing, but you know what I'm talking about. You can tell who's serious about this sport or something. And this guy, he's a quiet guy, but I've been kind of paying attention to him. And I think one of the reasons he's quiet is because he's really determined. And I would be shocked if he doesn't end up being like, you know, if he's a sophomore this year, I could see him making the state championships by the time he's a senior. I really do. I mean, there's no doubt about it because he's improved that much. And he's quiet, but I think he's really determined. Cameron Sayre. Okay. All right. Okay, next guy. This guy is like the guy in our team that holds my team together in so many ways. He's like the glue, which is really cool because, like, when this guy says something, people just do it. You know, he cannot be at practice for a month because he likes money. He's into money, which I understand that. He likes money, but when he shows up, people just like, oh, he said to do that, so I guess we have to do it, and they do it. And I don't understand that, but that's really good quality. It's a good quality. I think the reason why is because his relationships with his teammates are so strong during the school day that his absence, his presence is honored even if he's not there, which I think is really neat. He's a great runner. He's an excellent golfer, from what I understand. And again, top-notch student, joy to have on a team. And he's kind of like our glue. He holds us together, which I think is really important. Nick Snell. Okay. All right. Our next guy is a junior and made tremendous improvement this year. I mean, just really incredible. I'm pretty sure, guys, you're going to have to work hard this summer because I would think on our team next year he'll be the guy to beat. I mean, that's what I predict right now. Fantastic runner. He had the race of his life at the regional. There's no doubt about it. He had the race of his life. I think he ran 17:05 because we never got the time. But that's a whole nother weird story. But he ran, I think he was within a few places of making the state championships, bar none, whatever it takes. My own personal goal for him is that he goes to those state championships next year, because I think he will. I really think he is. I think he finished 21st, maybe was it 21st? 19? So he was 4 away from going this year. 4 away. All we got to do is train and wear the right uniform, and he'll go to state. I mean, I can do this. And I'm excited because he's going to, I got big goals for him in track season for sure, because he's going to have to hit some things so he'll be ready for the fall. But in my opinion, his goal should be the state championships next year and nothing less, because he should do that. I mean, he really should. And people notice him. I mean, people are like, wow, that guy's really good. So it's weird too, because he can turn it on and turn it off. I mean, if he wants to be awesome, he's like awesome, and if he just wants to run, he just runs. And that's okay, but we got to get him to be awesome all the time so that he can really go. And guys, our goal as a team is to help him get there, get to that state championship next year for sure. Dakota Kelly. All right. Okay. My last guy, I saved him for last because he's going to be incredibly missed next year for sure. This is probably, I've been here 30 years. So that's a long time. Well, 30 years next year, not yet. So, but I've been here 30 years. What can you say? He's made the state championship 3 times, 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade. He won national championships when he was in middle school. You guys don't know that because he doesn't tell you that, but he was the national champion in the 3,000 meter and I think the 1,500 meter in the 8th grade, which was really incredible. He has improved incredibly over the years, and he went to the state championship. He got 5th in the toughest regional in the state this year. He went to the state championship, and it was really incredible. He put it all on the line, guys. You probably talked to him about it. He was 18th place coming down the last 3/4 of the mile. And the state championship, the distance between all state and where James finished was like 7 seconds or 8 seconds. And in that 8-second span, there was something like 20 runners, 25 runners. So at the state championships, when you cross the line, you're crossing the line with like a whole wild amount of people. And so he was in there with the best of the best, and he ran incredible. Guys, let me give you a little statistics so you know. Anybody who's been around track before knows if you break 10 minutes in the 2 mile, you're pretty good, right? That's pretty good, right? Well, the state championships in cross country, James was at 9 minutes and 52 seconds and had a mile to go. Okay, think about that. Anybody who runs track who runs a 4:48 mile, that's a pretty good mile, right, Jacob? You'd be very happy with that. That's where James was at the first mile of the state championships. So what you have to understand is the talent is incredible and the effort's incredible, and he's had a lot of big races. He's going to continue to have 1 million more big races, which is really cool. And right now, what he's doing is he's just kind of resting and thinking about what's next. His future is obviously very bright. School records, that's got to be next for sure, and track for sure. And then deciding, what he wants to do at the next level. But without a doubt, it was my honor to coach him. And interesting enough, his best quality has nothing to do with his running. Remember how I told you in the beginning of the speech how Mr. Lamberado and I would show up and we didn't know why we were there as coaches? Because I have to be honest with you, I'm pretty sure James Wheatley coached your team for probably the last 4 years. Okay? So I'm not going to return my paycheck, but I got to tell you, I think James Wheatley coached your team. Do you guys agree with that? Okay. And I've never had that in my whole life. I felt dumb most of the season. Okay. If you guys haven't figured this out, I started running these half marathon things about 3 years ago, right? Why do you think I did that? Because I would come to cross country practice and James was already running my team. So I'm thinking, well, I might as well do something. I might as well train for a half marathon. But that's the volume of the person he is. Now, you guys, you have to remember, I've coached runners for 30 years. And usually, when you're a really good runner, what do you probably have to do? You probably got to be pretty selfish. You probably got to say, the heck with the rest of the guys on the team, I'm just going to train myself, get really, really good and win stuff. You get what I'm saying? James didn't do that. He always put you guys first, every time. And that was incredible. How can you be the best runner, one of the very best runners in the state, and at the same time coach the whole darn cross-country team? People come up to me and go like, wow, he's really good. I said, you have no idea. I mean, you have no idea. So what's really interesting is he's able to be individually excellent, but at the same time, take care of everybody else. That's a rare combination in life. I think all of you guys are going to be capable of that. It's just James seems to be able to do that right now, which is really cool. And I hope to keep working with him for sure, James Weekly. I got some awards in here. Okay. Great. Let's see. Should have brought my glasses. I did bring my glasses. Okay. This is our first award. Guys, you know this about me. I'm not an awards person. Okay. I'm not. Because I'll tell you this a million times. You're going to get these things all the time in your life, and a whole lot of time in your life, you're not going to get these things, okay? So you got to kind of learn how to operate for the 90% of your life where people aren't handing you trophies, okay? Because that's going to be more important. When you get the trophy, that's awesome, right? But most of the time, you ain't going to get the trophy. And so you got to be able to manage that. It's really important. You know that whole thing about where everybody in soccer should get a trophy? I believe that, because either give them all to anybody or don't give them to anybody, you know, because it's like, trophies should not be what drives you. I don't think any of you guys think like that, which is really good. But certain people do things that are exceptional, and they do deserve to be recognized for sure. Our most improved runner, I got a lot of feedback from this from different guys. Oh, it should be the fastest improvement, it should be this, it should be that. I look at the whole scope. When I choose most improved runner, I look at the scope of where they were when they started, where they are now, and where they want to go in the future. And this guy, which was really weird too, because I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it for most of the summer. Most of the summer, the guys would come to practice and I'd say, well, where's so-and-so? And they go, oh, he's not here, but don't worry, coach, he's training. I'm like, he's not training, he's watching TV, he's eating Cheetos, he's driving to a summer job, he's not doing anything. But they'd come to practice every day, and don't worry, coach, he's training. Now, what I think, he would show up in the summer fairly often, but not often enough, that's for sure. But when he would show up, it was quite obvious he was training. There's no doubt about it, because he did, and what that tells me is he's serious about this stuff. Because when he showed up, he was exactly what kids were telling me. Kids were telling me. I don't remember who was telling me what they were. And it showed in his performances this year. I think if we can see him more in the summertime, I think I could give him a little boost and do some things that will give him even better. But again, this is a guy that should be thinking state championships by the time he's a senior for sure. And I'm really proud of him, Cameron Sayer. Okay. Our next one is our most valuable runner. I think it might be the first time. I think it's 4 years in a row. It could be. I could be, which is really incredible. But, you know, I probably should have changed this, and it probably should say, you know, most valuable coach or most valuable person. I think that's more important. But he was our best runner, and I really think him and I talk a lot about this. I am encouraging him. He should really explore running at the next level, because I feel that the longer the distance, the better he's going to be. I really feel that way. And you guys should watch the national championships are on Saturday. Coming up, those races are 6 miles, guys. There's 2 5Ks. Cross country at college is 5 miles for the short races, 6.2 miles for the long races. So if you're like X at 5K, you probably can stretch that out to run an excellent 5 mile. There's no doubt in my mind. So I'm encouraging him to keep on going. I think he's going to for sure. And he's only at the tip of his running career. And you guys are all at the tip of your running careers, okay? The world's best runners hit their peak in their mid-30s. Mid-30s. Check that out. Except for the Russians. They seem to hit it a little earlier these days. They seem to do something a little crazy. But if you're serious about your running, a lot of you guys don't understand this, but if you really want to get into this, you may not be really, really great until you hit college, okay? I mean, I've had lots of kids I've coached that were average runners in high school and became all-American runners in college. Lots of kids that have done that. So if you're pretty good in high school, you can only imagine what you might be like in college. So keep going, and great runner, obviously, James Weekly. All right, so we got captains this year. I chose 2 captains this year, which I think will be great. And I think someone else will emerge as a quiet captain. What usually happens is I choose a couple of captains every year, but then all of a sudden I really have like 4 captains, which is, I'm encouraging you, if you're not like an official captain, be a captain, okay? Very important. If I got 17 guys on my team and I got 17 captains, I got no problem with that, okay? But these are the guys that most people said, I asked a lot of people, these are the guys that most people said really would be excellent captains going into next year for sure, and I think they'll do a tremendous job bringing a team along. And we're going to have an interesting year next year because of all the dynamics of what's going on in school, so it'll be interesting. The nice thing is, I think I've only got 2 seniors, which is really great. Sorry for seniors. Well, we got a young team, and I don't know what's going to happen with the size of our team, and depending on freshmen and things, so it'll be very interesting. But our 2 captains next year, who were captains this year for sure, Nick Snell and Dakota Kelly. Yeah, those are cool. Okay. All right. Thanks, Mom and Dad. You guys, your sons are wonderful. I hope people tell you that. I mean, these guys are wonderful. So, and you're the barometer of how we're going to compare, you know, the rest of our where we stand. You guys are the Harrison High School barometer. There's no question about that. And just keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. Okay, guys. All right. Thank you. Okay. Hey, I'm done.